Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back, and I hope you're doing fantastic out there. In this video today, we have another offering from HX Outdoors. This is their bushcraft hunting knife. I'm super excited about this knife. It has some fantastic specs. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so let's take a look at this HX Outdoors Bushcraft hunting knife. Now the retail price currently at the time of me filming this video for this knife is $79.99. Every man deserves an exceptional knife. Now I'm not kidding, folks, not just because I'm sponsored with this, but this really is a fantastic knife, and there's lots of cool things that I'm going to be talking about in this video. On the back of the packaging, you can see there is some warning information, so please feel free to pause your screen to read those warnings. And then right here, there's their address, and this knife is made in China. Let's go ahead and open the box and see how it's packaged. And as you can see, it comes packaged very well. You have these little foam inserts on the side. They also include some silica gel. And this is the knife itself. The first thing that I see right off the bat is a couple of things. Very nice Kydex sheath, very good retention, no rattle. That's my hand making sound. No rattle. Right down here, there's a drainage hole for the Kydex, and this is pretty good thickness of Kydex. This is a nice sheath. The leather here for putting onto your belt is nice and thick. It has good retention. It holds the knife. There is a snap here, which lets you pull the knife out of the sheath. And of course, if we look at all these tie-out points on the sheath, this is really nice. It does come with this included ferro rod. So very nice. This is about 5/16 thick, I would say. And it does have HX Outdoors, and then it has a little fire on it. Hopefully you can see that. And also their logo is right here, stamped on the sheath, as well as their little fire. So I think this is absolutely fantastic that the knife comes with a fire still right there on the sheath itself. Very nice that they do that. Now this knife is absolutely fantastic for a lot of reasons that I'm going to mention in this video. First off is the type of steel that they're using for this knife. They're using a steel called DC53. And this type of steel is an improvement over D2 steel, which is fantastic steel. Now, some of the advantages of having DC53 steel is it's harder than D2. In a lot of cases, this steel here hardnesses about 62 to 64 HRC on that hardness scale. Now this particular knife, the hardness they say is 58, which is still fantastic. So that hardness of steel is almost twice as tough as D2. And if you want to think about this a little further, this type of steel has superior wear resistance compared to D2, higher fatigue strength compared to D2. Now the downside, in my opinion anyway, is the DC53 has less carbon in the steel than D2 does. But this is a fantastic steel that they've used for this knife. This is a full Tang knife, as you can see. So it goes, the steel goes all the way from the bottom, all the way up through the handle, and all the way up to the tip of the blade. Now the thickness of this is 0.2 of an inch, or 4 millimeters. Now if you look real close at the thickness of the steel in the handle, you get some jimping, and then it kind of thins out. Now it's still thick right here, but they thin it going upward, and they also thin it going downward. And then when you get down towards the tip of the blade, where it's important, they bring the 4 millimeter thickness back. I think that is absolutely fantastic the geometry of this blade. Now, if you look at this angle right here of the tip, so right here where my finger is versus right here, this is a 60-degree angle on this tip. Now, the blade length is 3.8 inches or 96 millimeters. The handle, which is G10 by the way, the handle is 4.5 inches or 115 millimeters, and the overall length of this blade is 8.9 inches or 226 millimeters. Now, the weight of the knife by itself is 230 grams, but when you include the sheath, the weight goes up to 338 grams. That is approximately 11.9 ounces. Now, you can see that they have a gray titanium coating on the blade. This is really good because it helps reduce corrosion and prevents oxidation. It also helps keep edge retention. And this knife is razor sharp. Watch, take a look at my thumbnail. Look at that, very easy. I'm just shaving my thumbnail. That is fantastic, very nice. And again, like I mentioned, this is G10 handle scales, and you can see the skeleton type blade design. You can see through that. That is very nice for a lot of reasons. It reduces weight, it improves balance of the knife, which is right about here, right there. There's the balance point. So it reduces weight, and the cool thing, you have a lanyard hole, you have a pummel here so you can break glass, you have some jimping on the thumb ramp of the knife, there's a nice area for your index finger right there on the grip, so you have a nice non-slip grip, and then there's also a place right here where you can move your finger forward and have finer carving ability on things because you can choke up. Now, a lot of people are afraid to put their finger in something like this because it's directly into the blade. But the cool thing about the geometry of this blade and how they designed it is the thumb jimping. So what you can do is you can put your finger here and go this way towards this stud, and you can help do that by pushing on the thumb ramp. This keeps your finger locked back in this direction and away from that edge that is extremely sharp. So this is a fantastic knife. I love the Kydex sheath that it came with. This is a non-slip type G10 grip. This is just fantastic. It's also very ergonomic. I have large hands, and you can see that it fits my hand very nice. Now, this knife, like I mentioned, it's got a glass breaker pummel on the rear. It has a lanyard hole. I think this is an ideal knife for a lot of different applications. Now, let me talk about one more thing. The fact that it's a skeleton type full tang design. I like this a lot. Now, if you think about paracord and you think about making this or lashing this to a hard piece of wood, you can run your paracord through these holes and lash this thing and get your distance further away from yourself and use it as a spear. Absolutely fantastic. Right there on the blade, you can see it says HX Outdoors, and then it tells you DC53. That is the type of steel. And then, of course, right here, this is the model of the knife. There's a campfire, and then, of course, they got to put Jiu-Jitsu 2000 on it, right? Just kidding, that's not what that is. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good, right? So I think this knife would be ideal for processing game. I think you could use it as a chopper because it does have a long enough blade, 3.8 inches. You can easily cut cordage with this thing because it's razor sharp. Skin an animal, you can slice things, you can use it for food preparation around camp. I think it would be a good survival knife. And the fact that if you look at the spine of the knife, they've taken this little section right here and they've made that section. Watch this. Even on my fingernail, that is a sharp 90-degree spine. So the reason they do that is because that gives you an area where you can strike your ferro rod, which makes this a good SHTF knife because you have the ability to make fire with this thing. I think it's perfect. It would be good, like I said, for survival, SHTF. You could put this in your bug out bag because it's not a big, huge knife. Again, it's only 3.8 inch blade, and overall it's only 8.9 inches. So you could put this in your bug out bag. You could use this for bushcraft. You could also take it camping, hunting, fishing. If you're gonna be hiking, you can take it hiking, backpacking even, because it's not super heavy. Or you could do like I do and just keep it in your vehicle as you travel. In the event that you break down, you end up in a situation, you have a fantastic knife there ready to do work. Now, I did look at a deal online where they stuck the knife into something hard and they pulled against it, and they were able to achieve a 20-degree pull. That is wonderful. This is a very nice knife. I can't say enough good things about it. Let's go ahead and start using this knife, and let me show you some of the things that we can do. I have some cottonwood bark here. I'm just gonna fluff this up and make me a little tinder pile. It doesn't take much. You don't have to do a lot. I'm gonna do 2 little tinder piles because I wanna do 2 different tests on the ferro rod here. So I'm gonna do maybe about half of this, or just a little bit here. So this is just cottonwood bark. You can use grass or dried barks or anything like that. And the first test is going to be using the knife with my ferro rod. So I have a 1/2 inch by 8 ferro rod. Let's park the knife on my foot. Let's put the ferro rod in position and draw back and direct the sparks right into our tinder pile. Look at that. So with a very easy process, I can easily make fire using my ferro rod right here. Now let's take this a step further and let's try the ferro rod that comes with the knife. So let's stomp that out. So we're gonna just make sure we have nice loose fibers here. We're gonna put that there, and let's see how the knife performs with the ferro rod that's included with the knife. Now when you first buy these, this comes with a coating on it, so you got to give it a few strikes to get the coating off before you start getting good sparks. Okay, let's give it a shot. There we go, right there. We have fire, so we'll turn it up on top of itself. Fire likes to climb. So there you can see that we have now created fire very easily with this knife. You can see this portion right here does a very good job. I love that sharp portion of the spine that they put on there. I wish they would have done a sharp spine like that the whole length of the spine personally. The ferro rod did a good job, and so did the knife. And if I had sticks and stuff on there, I would definitely have a fire. And in a survival situation, that's what you need your knife to be able to do. Lock that down, and then we'll put our fire still back in place right there on the sheath. Now I like it because if you carry the knife down, this by gravity alone, you're not going to lose that ferro rod. I think it's a fantastic design that they made this sheath with. Very sharp all the way down to the tip. That's a sharp knife. Look at that. Went through there, no problem. So if you needed to drill a divot for a friction fire, that's like the perfect size divot. Okay, let's test it and see how well it'll baton. So I've got the knife, I've got my piece of wood here, my baton, and I have this. And this is going to be a little difficult because it's got like a little knotty section in it. Put the knife right there. As you can see, it went right through the hardest part of this wood. Now I'm going to give it a pretty solid test. I'm going to go this way and get through the most amount of material possible. I'm going to rest my piece right there, and I'm going to set the knife there, and let's see if we can get through this. This is going to be a little bit difficult of a task for this knife. small blade. Remember, it's only 3.8 inches. But as you can see, we were easily able to get through that material. This is a very dense, hard material. I'm going to do something about like that. Set this here. There we go. So if we were trying to make kindling or something for a fire, we can absolutely do that. Let's go on the end here. There we go. And the other end. This wood has a lot of splits and twists and stuff in it, but as you can see, it's not a problem to baton with this knife. Now, a lot of people are afraid of batoning. They don't like doing that with their knife. They think, well, you need to have a hatchet or an axe if you're going to baton. But really, a good knife should have no problem, at least in my opinion, doing some mild batoning. And this is not mild batoning for a blade this small. Look at the twists and stuff. This is what makes batoning really hard, is when you find these kind of twists and turns in the wood. That's what makes it difficult. So let's see how it fares here. Right through it. No problem at all. So in a short amount of time, I'm able to make some decent little kindling and stuff in the event that I needed to make a fire. So very cool. This could be used, like I mentioned earlier, as a camping or bushcraft type knife. It's got the ability to do those things, which I really, really like. So look at this material that we just did in a short amount of time. So yes, absolutely, this knife is capable of batoning without a doubt. The edge retention is fantastic. Let's start with the end of the blade here. Yep, I'm easily able to cut that. Let's choke up and see if we can do some fine carving real close. Look at that. It just digs right into that material. Very nice. Does a good job. Now, what about for processing horseweed for friction fire? Very easy. Nice, easy cut there. Now, this can be used as a hand drill spindle. So let's try this one right here. Makes quick work. Cut right through it. Got any thicker ones that are straight? Maybe right here. Right through it, no problem. So I just got done doing all that cutting out in the woods. Now I'm home. Let's see how well this blade does cutting a tomato. Wow, look at that. That is fantastic. Right through that, just like butter. Beautiful job. Start from the other side. Check that out. No problems at all. Easy peasy cutting up that tomato. So let's go ahead and cut through some asparagus. Boom. Easy peasy. No problem at all. Let's take a look at these potatoes. Right through them. No problems. The knife works good. Here is some white onion. Right through that. Very sharp. Look at that. Wow, that turned out really nice. Right through that onion like it was nothing. I'm over here crying already. And what about cutting off the end of something hard like corn on the cob? Right through it. Now let's peel that bad boy. Let's cut those down one more notch. Right through it. Now let's work on this one. Right there. Peel that back. Okay, let's cut that bad boy in half. right there. And that's something that's very difficult to cut, and the knife made quick work of that, cutting right through that corn. Let's take a look at these. Wow, look at that. Easy peasy. Wow, those are gonna cook up really nice. The knife did a fantastic job on those as well. Oh yeah, look at that. That is gonna be fantastic. Whoa, I'm digging that. Look at that, how good the knife does. It cuts right through that like butter. Well, my final thoughts on this HX Outdoors Bushcraft hunting knife. This is a fantastic knife. I think the price point that they have for the quality of a blade that this is very good. I put this thing through the ringer and the blade retention blows me away. This still holds an edge. Now with that blade retention, it's probably going to be a little bit of a booger to sharpen. But if you're looking for a knife that holds an edge well, this might be a good option for you. The pommel is fantastic. I love these points here. I can't say enough good things about this knife. I want to say thank you to HX Outdoors for sending this knife out for review. If you're interested in this knife, I'll put a link in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.